So there is a fairly, and what if you've been serving in the military for any period of time, you've probably heard the saying that soldiers should not look like bodybuilders. They should not train hypertrophy in the space of building muscle tissue, because you don't want to get too big and have to carry so much muscle tissue around the battlefield. And yeah, I kind of understand the concept, but I don't agree with it, because the problem with breeding that style of mentality is you won't go into specific nutrition, you won't go into specific hypertrophy training because of that concept. No offense, or offense intended, most of your average human beings are not going to look like a bodybuilder. Unless you take a shit ton of gear, diet specifically for a specific way for a specific amount of time, you're not going to look like a bodybuilder. I can tell you that right now as someone that's trained in the gym for years and years and years and years and years. It takes a hell of a lot of effort and dedication to build a good amount of muscle mass. It takes even more dedication with the fuel and the fire of the steroids to get to a bodybuilder style level. The chances of your average soldier getting to that point are fucking slim anyway. So you may as well drop the act of thinking, I don't want to get too big because heaven forbid I won't be able to move around. The long and short, the reality of the modern day fucking soldier, dare I say it, they're above 15% body fat. Because we never got taught about nutrition. You know, we're carrying more body fat than realistically we should do. So like, even if you were to put on another fucking 5 kilos of muscle, you'd be the same weight anyway, but you'd be stronger. And people think, oh, 5 kilos of muscle is so much to oxygenate. No, it's not. Shut the fuck up and stop coping with this stupid situation and saying. The reason why I actually believe you should have the mindset of a soldier of, I want to look like a bodybuilder, is for 3 reasons. If you want to look and act like a bodybuilder, guess what you're going to do first? You're going to dial in your nutrition. For every human being, and especially soldiers, if you dialed in your nutrition, your life would be significantly better. If you knew how to manipulate your diet to get a certain outcome, your life would be significantly better. You would be significantly happier at the end of that process as well. You'd know how much you needed to eat to repair the tissue, to keep yourself full. You'd know how to manage feeding across the week if you've got a social on the weekend so that you don't overconsume and end up putting on loads of body fat. You'd know how to manipulate carbohydrates before performance, after performance, in and around performance, whatever the fuck. You'd understand nutrition, therefore be able to get yourself into a much better space. And just trying to approach the bodybuilding style of feeding is going to serve that for you. It's going to allow you to put staple foods into your diet, understand food groups, macronutrients. That's then going to keep you equipped in the best shape of your life anyway. The next reason I'd say that it's important is most people will be operating at a better capacity if you're in around the space of 10 to 12% body fat. I'm not telling you to get 6% stage lean. I'm telling you to get to 10% body fat so you can see your abs. Because if you're 20% body fat versus the guy that's 10% body fat, that's easy 10 kilos difference of body fat being carried. 10 kilos of difference is like half of the weight you would carry on your back when doing like a loaded march. So, fucking hell, if you were to drop that off, do you think performance is going to be better? Do you think you're going to be quicker? I've got guys, as soon as they finish my transformation, they go and do a 2 miler, put their 15 kg Bergen on, and they're PBing because they're lighter. You're carrying less adipose tissue because you applied bodybuilding style approach to your diet and training. Are you going to perform better if you're carrying less body fat, yes or no? The answer is pretty much yes every time. You may be able to find an example of where it's better not to. Like, well, what happens if I'm going to the Arctic and it's cold as fuck and I need... Fine. In that one analogy, fine. Bulk up. But in most cases, it's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve you to be 20% body fat as a soldier in the army. It's not even going to serve you to be 15% body fat. You will be quicker if you are lighter. You will get lighter if you are leaner. I'm not telling you to lose muscle. I'm telling you to cut the fat. Cut the fat and zip around the gaff. Now, in order to get into this style of physique conditioning, you're going to need to implement cardio. Bodybuilders implement cardio. Soldiers absolutely must implement cardio. So if you can implement cardio to manipulate how your physique is going to look, at the end of it, you're going to be fit. At the end of my transformations, guys are fit because those motherfuckers are running 60 minutes of cardio daily to drop off that body fat. So you're going to be fit. The worry is, I'm not going to be fit enough to like zip around. No. You're going to have done cardio every fucking day for about 8 weeks on the plan. You will be fit, trust me when I say. You will be fit. Now, the next point is to do with the style of training. People think the style of training is bad for soldiers. I'm here to debunk that right now. People think that soldiers just need to focus on strength or endurance. Now, to do strength, you can't just take a weak body and then start doing strength. Why? Because neurally, he's not going to be equipped for the movement pattern. His body's not going to be in a space of performing strength anyway. It has to work up to it. So putting yourself in the hypertrophy rep range is a very safe bet. Get very good at hypertrophy, earn the right to do strength. Don't jump straight to strength thinking, oh, I have to be strong. No. If you do hypertrophy style training, guess what you're going to do? You're going to slow down the tempo of every movement you do. When we're doing bodybuilding style training, we're starting from the top, we're coming down 3, 2, 1, pause. We're always in control of that load. Chances of getting injured are a lot less. We're pausing in the length and position, which if you're using a blunt piece of weight like a dumbbell or a barbell, that's the hardest part of the movement. So you're going to pause at the hardest part of the movement, and then you're going to be in control of the load, right? And then you're going to drive back up. Now, with hypertrophy style training, you're taking it for a full range of motion, which when you are a soldier, if you need to move in random weird positions, you will have wanted to build strength in that range. If you need to pick something up from a random position, you best bet you built strength in that range and you're flexible enough, because if you're not, you're going to injure yourself. So by slowing down the tempo and fixing your range of motion, you're going to be a lot more equipped. As well, you don't just strengthen a muscle when you train, you strengthen the joint itself. The main reason soldiers get injured is because their muscle and joint is too weak for the output and demands that you put on it. You are asking your body to carry load, move a certain amount of distance, but your chassis is not strong enough to deal with that demand. If you went through a hypertrophy style block of training, you would. Because don't get this mixed up. When we do hypertrophy style training, we still aim to get stronger every time we train. You can still, anywhere from 6 all the way up to 12 repetitions is like the space for hypertrophy. You're still going to aim to get stronger every time you train. So you're still technically building strength. You're just not into the 1 to 5 rep range for building strength. So you're going to finish the plan with a lot less. I have guys that come to me, and then by the time they finish, injuries are gone. So shoulder injuries are gone because we've slowed down the tempo. We're not rushing. When you do strength training, you're only really thinking about the concentric power you need to turn on the way back up. You're not thinking about that controlled eccentric, because you don't want to burn. You haven't got the capacity to come down slow enough to then pause and go back up. I'm asking you to control the movement in every aspect. In the shortened position, in the eccentric, in the lengthened position, in the concentric, we're always asking you to control the load. Therefore, you get stronger at all elements of the movement. And we're going to do this across all of your body, whilst also taking it through a full range of motion, whilst also getting stronger across each style of the movement. So you're going to end up just a more robust individual. The reason I never got injured in the military was because I'd strength trained, hypertrophy style training, my full way through my career. So I never got injured because my connective tissue is fucking bomb-proof. So when I'm PTIing for the Paras and I'm doing 10 milers 3 times a week up at ITC Catterick, I don't get injured because I've done the fucking strength training. I've done the work beforehand that I don't get injured. Most people don't do this style of work because they think that they're going to put on too much muscle. When the long and short of it is, motherfucker, it will take you years to put on the amount of muscle you think is too much muscle. And guess what you can do halfway through? You can stop. You can stop halfway through. When you get enough muscle, guess what you can do? You don't have to put on any more. You just maintain it. So you reduce the amount of workload you're doing to maintenance style of training, and you just hold that amount, and you just manipulate your nutrition to set at maintenance, and then you fucking crack the code. Then you can go and do whatever else, whatever other discipline, whatever aspects you prefer, because you got enough muscle. It's not a fucking haircut. It's not, oh shit, we shouldn't have taken that much off. No, it's we take a bit, oh yeah, I like that, that's nice. Oh no, go a bit more. It's like, woof, oh fuck, no, I've woke up one day, there's too much muscle. Now what am I going to do with all this? Another thing as well, muscle can shrink. You can get rid of it real quick if you need to. I tell you now, it's much easier to drop muscle than it is to drop body fat. So rest assured, you're never going to end up too big. You're never going to end up with too much muscle. Before you get to that space, you're going to end up looking like my guys here. None of these guys here you would say are too big. They're all 10% body fat, fair amount of muscle, but not fucking a shit ton of muscle that they wouldn't be able to oxygenate it as they're whipping round. Side note to that, they're all lighter. As a minimum 10 kilos lighter across most photos. Do you think their performance is going to be better? Do you think they're going to be quicker? If I take 10 kilos off you right now of all your body fat, sit it on the side of the counter and tell you to run, you think you're going to be quicker? Fucking course you're going to be quicker. And therefore, the fact that you are lighter, it will be easier on your heart and lungs anyway, because you literally got less to carry. So don't ever think that bodybuilding is bad for soldiers. Don't ever think that you're going to put on too much muscle. You won't. Don't think that the bodybuilding style training will not serve you, because it absolutely will. And don't think that the tracking of the macros and eating like a bodybuilder will not serve you. It will. You'll perform better when you are all over your nutrition. Because the only other alternative I see is people ignore this information and they just eat garbage anyway. So it's like, well, there's no point taking advice from you, because what you're doing is not better. Because if it was, you'd still be tracking and applying your methodologies of nutrition. And guess what? That's still very similar to what bodybuilders do. The way of approach may be slightly different, but the thesis of having an approach is still the same. And that's what people try to shy away from. So that's my 2 cents. That's why it's a fucking myth. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.